What's popping YouTube? My name is Quinn and I am the coach of the Coal Valley Cobalion. We are here for my draft analysis of Season 3 of WPF Delta. I would like to thank my good friends Gentleman Thomas and ZomTM for allowing me to participate in this season of WPF. This season we have a draft board consisting of 19 point values from which we select 9 to 11 Pokemon totaling 110 points or less. We have 25 points to assign Terra to Pokemon. A number of high tier Pokemon have been allowed to Terra this season, which is both exciting and scary simultaneously. It is free Terra with preview, meaning that our Terra Pokemon can terrestrialize into any typing we want, but we need to tell our opponent what that typing is before we start the battle. Now that we've gotten some logistics out of the way, let's get straight into the team. We were lucky enough to get the 4th pick out of 16. This meant that I had nearly the entire board to choose from with my first pick, and I was fortunate enough to get the Pokemon that I really wanted to use coming into the season, that being Terra Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt's already a great Pokemon without the ability to Terra, but its great Natural Bolt and astounding 137 base special attack, paired with the ability to beat some of his checks with Terra, make it absolutely demonic. Its rather lacking move pool outside of Stab greatly appreciates the ability a third Stab move with Terra Blast. It's a phenomenal Pokemon that has a lot of different ways it can be run, and I am extremely excited to be working with it this season. With our second pick, I grabbed what I believe to be the best pairing with Raging Bolt on the board, which is Greninja. Greninja adds a lot of valuable tools to any team. It has an amazing speed tier being 122, making it a great fast pivot and a fast taunter. It also has access to spikes and toxic spikes to help support the rest of the team. It is also an amazing cleaner with the ability to reliably use both attacking stats through the newly changed Battle Bond, which now gives you gives Greninja an attack boost, a special attack boost, and a speed boost of +1 after it picks up a KO. These tools pair greatly alongside Raging Bolt, and the idea of Greninja cleaning after Raging Bolt breaks through a team in the mid-game is very intriguing and greatly factored in my decision to pick it up. With the next pick, I really wanted something that had a physical consistent presence. While Greninja does have the ability to run physical sets, it's not very strong without either a Battle Bond up or a Swords Dance up, so I needed something to help break through more specially defensive Pokemon for Raging Bolt and Greninja. That's why I decided to pick up Gouging Fire. Now, Gouging Fire is not on paper the best breaker you could get. It's a very good cleaner, but its 115 attack stat is not immediately threatening. However, with the team composition we have, Gouging Fire has close to no pressure on it at all, meaning that it can run pretty much any sort of set it's capable of without needing to shoehole it into one of a couple of different types. This allows it to be great as a DD sweeper, an offensive breaker, a defensive wall with its great natural bulk, or it can even run like a more supportive set with its fast move pool. I think it's a great addition to the team, and I felt that bringing the two brothers together was a great opportunity. Unfortunately, Walking Wake had to be left on the side. With the next two picks, I wanted to prioritize Roll Compression, as our top 3 had a great offensive core without much team support aside from Greninja's hazards. Thus, my next two picks were Empoleon and Mesprit. Empoleon gives us a great stealth rocker and a bulky pivot with some longevity and roofs. It's a great ice resist, which is very important as our fire does not resist ice. And our other water type is Greninja, which also does not take on ice well at all, especially not freeze dry. But just in general, resisted ice hits do a lot more than it should to any water type because Greninja is frail. It has other good utility with access to knockoff and roar as well. Mesprit, meanwhile, gives us another great stealth rocker, though it also provides us with a great ground immunity and with its levitate ability. And it also has other great utility moves such as Encore, Knockoff, and Psychic Noise, which, in my opinion, are currently some of the best moves in the game. It's also more than capable of running an offensive set, with a good set of options in Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, and Mystical Power, as well as great coverage move pool with things like Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball. I think it gets Energy Ball as well. So it's got a lot of options there. Our 6th round pick addresses a very important part of a draft team, that being removal. I went with one of my favorite Pokemon to use this gen in Bremogas. Bremogas gives us access to Rapid Spin, which is extremely valuable in competitive Pokemon. It also gives us a second Spiker to help take pressure off Greninja in that regard. It has longevity and strength sap, and it is a great offensive option with Power Whip and Poltergeist coming off of a sneaky good 115 attack stat. This makes it a surprisingly capable offensive Pokemon despite its small frame. At this point, our team desperately needs a good ground type. Since we already have good hazards, I felt that it was about time I tried out Ursaluna. Now, I've used Blood Moon Ursaluna a couple of times, but the regular forms always manage to slip through the cracks. it feels a lot harder to put on a team as opposed to Blood Moon or Sun Luna, so it's kind of just been at the wayside at this point. It gives a very strong ground type and a good breaker, as well as a very bulky normal to help out Greninja deal with some of the strong ghost types in the tier, such as Spectre and Dragapult, both of which I do believe we face this season. It has a lot of good setup options in Sword Xanax and Bulk Up, as well as it does have Trailblaze if the team is slow enough to abuse Trailblaze. It has multiple good abilities with having both Guts and having Bulletproof, both of which have a lot of offensive and defensive capabilities. And it has a lot of potential both offensively and defensively with its overall great stat spread. I'm extremely excited to use this mon. It's a very fun looking mon, and I've always seen it do very well. So I'm excited to hopefully rip through some teams with it. At this point, the team is very slow outside of Greninja. We have a massive 122 to 91 speed gap that I wanted to fill. I decided to grab one of my favorite mons to use in past generations in Yanxiao. It's a 105 speed tier, perfectly covers that gap, and its strong offensive profile makes it a great choice user, being both Choice Scarf and Choice Band. It gives us another good knockoff user, which is extremely important when our Dark type does not have knockoff. It also gained Triple Axle this gen, which is a phenomenal addition to help break through Flying type Pokemon that typically annoy it. At this point in the draft, we have blown through about 105 points of our 110 points. I only needed to draft one more Pokemon, but there were two things I really wanted to get at this point. I wanted a second Terra Captain, and I wanted a grounded Poison type. Because we were tight on points, these last two mons may very well not come at all, however, they were both more than capable of coming to a battle if the matchup is right. Those Pokemon being Terra Masquerain and Arbok. Masquerain not only adds Sticky Webs to help the team out, as it is relatively slow, but it has the Intimidate ability as well as Quiver Dance, which give it a lot of set of opportunities. It's a really cool low-tier Pokemon, or low-tier Terra option, that could potentially have a good matchup where it can put in a lot of work, as well as always make the opponents respect that Sticky Webs are a possibility. Arbok gives the team a good grounded poison. Arbok gives the team a serviceable grounded poison type to potentially deter toxic spikes from the opposing side. It also has a nice utility in its Intimidate ability, and its access to good support moves such as Knockoff, its own toxic spikes, and Glare. This makes it a nice addition to help round out the bottom of the team. That is the squad for the season of WPF Delta. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I hope that I will be able to put it to good use. The uploads will be every Friday, so if you are interested, make sure to stay tuned in. The links to the rest of the coaches should be in the description. Make sure to check them all out. That is all for this week. I hope to see you all next Friday with week 1. This is Quinn, signing off.